Do you all remember a while back I did a video talking about how they're going to be de-aging Jon Kent again in an upcoming Shazam book written by Sina Grace? And I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna do anything other than to just try and justify the fact that, even when he was a kid, he was gay. Because that's all Jon Kent is just gay Superman. And people could bite my head off all they want and scream about, oh no, he's bisexual, he's gay. So does not pretend that gay. That's what DC wants. That's what DC marketed. We go around marketing Jon Kent as. That's it. Well, the book came out, and surprised as you may be, it's creepy as all shit. That's the best way to put it. It's creepy as all shit. It's basically just, the book is called Shazam and the Misadventures of Superman Jon Kent. What I put Superman Jon Kent, because God forbid Jon Kent be his own hero, go and get his own identity, his own everything. No. So I put Superman Jon Kent. It's like Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Okay, people will never be what they are, boy, no matter what you do. Now, how exactly does Jon Kent get de-aged, you may ask? Was it some kind of, complicated scheme? Did something happen? No. Apparently, some dinosaur thing dropped some cage that was holding some kind of, I don't know, gin in it. And when Shazam transformed, when Billy Batson transformed into Shazam, one of his lightning bolts from his transformation struck some mirror, and then it just randomly hit Jon Kent while he was flying by. So yeah, they really had to put a lot of thought into this to get it done. So he just shows up there in his younger form there and says to Shazam that I need your help. Suddenly he's just back again, and that's it. And it's just really, the whole thing about it is just a really stupid process running through, the fact that he was, what happened, all kind of nonsense like that. Because you have Shazam, you have Mary Marvel there, and they take time to reiterate the fact that, how Amanda Waller had Brainiac Queen infect Jon Kent, because apparently people are supposed to care. And then, he goes on to say about how, that he's been shipping to Alan. He's like, but aren't you all orphans? Everybody's going through stuff, right? And then Mary Marvel is, I didn't spend half my life being tortured in a volcano, but I get your point. And Shazam is all that happened, and he's all shocked, and his entire adolescence gone. That whole nonsense that they did with literal Ultraman kidnapping Jon Kent and keeping him in a volcano and torturing him for years. Like, I think it is such nonsense. And I still am of the impression that, the real Jon Kent is probably in stasis somewhere on Crime Syndicate world. And this is some kind of weird, freaky clone thing that they sent back to infiltrate, all kind of thing. Because it makes absolutely no sense. The whole process of what they did to this again, and like I said before, I said it again, I'm not surprised that they did it. When Super Son started off, I actually thought it was actually interesting and cool, but I started to realize pretty early on that they were just turning Jon Kent into a blank canvas to just mirror his father. So I wasn't surprised when they decided to just age him up, because I realized that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to take this guy, create their own type of Superman that they want. It's basically the same thing that they do with Miles Morales, and that's why Miles could just never stick. They do the same thing with Jon Kent. And they continued along what they were doing with Jon Kent and Damian Wayne and the Superstars, and then have them grow. Well, you could have done that. You look at the success of comic books like Teen Titans, Young Justice. You could have done something similar to that when they started off as Superstars and then eventually form their own super team and do something like that. But no, you just screwed it up to do this. And now you're going with this cheap, gimmicky crap of he getting struck by one of Shazam lightning bolt and turned into a kid. That's it. So what did they decide to do? Play hooky. And then, and then Jon Kent, because he must tell them this. Well, my boyfriend's got group therapy and trauma counseling, maybe just for the night, because they will have him constantly say this throughout the book, because the point of this book is to really reference the fact that, listen, even though Jon Kent is a kid, he's still gay. That's the point of this book. You understand me? There's no other reason for it to exist. It has no actual bearing or anything. The only reason that it's done is for this. And it's not surprising that they've given Sina Grace this to do, because he tends to do some creepy shit. You understand me? This is what goes on here. That's the point of this book. It doesn't have any actual point to it other than they just wanted to de-age Jon Kent, to push home the fact that even when he was a kid, he was gay. Despite the fact that when he was a kid, he actually had a girl, he actually had this girl he was interested in. Then there was the whole thing with Saturn girl and all of that. I said, but no, let's completely erase all of that, so that we could de-age him now and constantly have him tell everybody about his boyfriend, his boyfriend, his boyfriend, his boyfriend, his boyfriend, because they need to drive home the fact that, hey, listen, he was always gay. That's the point of this book. So they end up doing a bunch of useless nonsense that nobody likes, going to the carnival and thing, ice cream, playing video games, golf, all this crap. And then they go back home, and it's, they this home with a whole bunch of kids inside of there, because it's not creepy at all, because it's not to say like Jon Kent, somehow got the age and lost all his memories of what happened to him. So he's a kid again. No, he still has his mind, and he's still basically like, I don't know, like 20 or something. So in a kid's body, and he's basically hanging around with a bunch of other children, because that's not disturbing or pedophilic at all. No, that's perfectly fine. And then the mother, the foster mother, comes in there and kisses all of them goodnight and kisses him too. And he's and one of them asks, "You okay, John?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's just been a while since my mom's kissed my forehead." Grown ass man, mother. That's just something. And then, of course, Jay's calling him, and he has to make sure he says it again. I can't let my boyfriend or my dad, for that matter, see me like this. It's absolutely embarrassing. Like, you have to mention him again and again, because that's just what's going on. So they go to see Damian Wayne Robin, right? And honestly, Damian is the only person that has any kind of actual common sense in this book and says what everybody's thinking. Because he straight up tells him, nobody wants this. That's what he says. Straight up tells him that nobody wants this. And he's not wrong. Nobody wants this. Nobody. Nobody wants this. None of the Jon Kent fans, if there are any, want this. None of the fans of Super Sons want this. None of the fans of Common Sense want this. None of the, like him say, fans of Sina Grace, but let's just say nobody wants this. Nobody. Honestly to God, nobody wants this. And then he goes on to tell him, Jon Kent is about, come on, it's kind of funny. And Damien is Arkham boasting about new security features is funny. This is just depressing. And it is. It is depressing. And that thing about Arkham is true, because it's like a revolving door. But yeah, this is just wrong and depressing. And he goes on and says, so then Damien continues on, so you have your current memories, but you're in your childhood body. It appears only minimal brain damage has occurred. Yeah, I class this up to brain damage as well, because this is just downright disturbing and creepy. That's all. Really and truly, that's all. And then, of course, we have, Shazam turned back into Billy Batson, and he is there like, I can't believe the coolest Robin is right in front of me. Since when is Damian Wayne the coolest Robin? Seriously, that was always Tim Drake before they literally ruined him. Literally ruined him. I mean, I could say that, Dick Grayson is the coolest Robin. Okay, at about the time he was, but he's pretty much established himself now as Nightwing. So it's always kind of been Tim Drake is the coolest Robin. But now, because they just need to keep pushing this hero worship crap in, he's there, but I can't believe the coolest Robin is right in front of me. And then he continues on with the nonsense. I should tell him, what? I should tell him I think he's awesome. No, don't be weird. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get a selfie. Like, why? Since when is Damian the coolest Robin? Since when? This is just absolutely nonsensical. They go back again and they're going through all this stuff to try and see if they could find some cure for all kind of nonsense and all of this. And, all that thing. But then they realize that basically, John is acting like he doesn't want to get turned back for some god awful reason, for whatever nonsense or the other. And then he talks with Shazam, and he tells him that that it wasn't entirely random where he was flying when he got struck by the lightning. He's things are a lot right now. I can handle fighting bad guys or enduring endless physical pain, but growing with another person, moving in with a partner, I'm in the middle of these very adult things like working through trauma, and I just need a minute. And it's like, I tell you again, the whole thing is played out to make it seem like, Jon Kent saying this stuff is somehow okay when it's really not. You have a child talking about a literal child talking about his boyfriend and moving in to get out the partner. I think it's really wrong. That's what you're doing here. It's really, really wrong and just really messed up. They try to act like this whole thing, Jon Kent has regrets about the childhood that he missed on. Why did you do it in the first place? But this is the crap you keep doing. But just because they need to make this as absolutely disturbing and pedophilic as possible, right? Because they somehow need to do that. What do? They bring in Jay Nakamura, who sees Jon Kent as a literal child in his child form. And what does this weirdo say? Wouldn't you believe me if I said this was on my bingo card for the year? That's what this weirdo is into. That's what he's into. He literally is out there saying, wouldn't you believe me if I said this was on my bingo card for the year? God have mercy, boy. Eh, I ain't telling, and he's like, so this is why you were avoiding me all weekend. What the hell, John? Why didn't you tell me sooner? And he's like, oh, a lot of reasons, but mainly you've been through so much grief counseling, trauma therapy, turning myself into a kid felt absolutely stupid. And he's like, babe, I need stupid. God, and then he goes, and then to make it even worse, he's like, the grief will always be there. A pint size you will not. So you literally want, I'm sorry this upset, but this is coming off like he literally wants to rape this child. That's exactly what this is coming off like. He literally wants to rape this child. This is the kind of weird shit Sina Grace would actually put in a comic book and put out there, and Mark Avenue of DC actually approved this crap and printed it. Good God, boy, that is weird. So then, how in the end does Jon Kent turn back? Apparently, all these geniuses, even Shazam was the wisdom of Solomon, couldn't figure it out. But what happened is that Jay Nakamura just suggested, you know what? He should just say Shazam. And when he says it, bam, he's back to his adult form. That's the nonsense that happens. That was the big crap that they had to do. So then he and Jay end up leaving, and then they go back to go back to their apartment and have some kind of pillow fort and lie down, they hug up each other and all kind of crap. And that was it. That was I don't know what the point of this book was other than for Sina Grace to just push this disturbed narrative down our throats and let us see that you're literally setting up for Jay Nakamura to rape that child. That's what it was. This comes out at extreme pedophilia in a book. That's what it is. It's just very, very disturbing. I knew when I first saw this book it was going to be them just trying to push the fact that listen, even though Jon Kent is a kid now, even the age, he's still gay. And that's what it was. And when they had to add in the extra creepiness of literally knowing that Jay Nakamura wanted to get it on with a child. Because apparently this makes sense and they just decided to give Sina Grace the green light to make this nonsense. That's what this is. Pure and utter nonsense. Let me know your thoughts on this disturbing book about different opinion, and I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. And I shall see you all next time. I'm gonna take a bath with holy water. Take care.